Oh, Themasius has a playlist. All right, let's get started. Here's some good news. Here's some Mexico news that is actually very good. Mexico's Supreme Court, ladies and gentlemen, Mexico's Supreme Court has decriminalized abortion. Okay, my situation in Mexico has nothing to do with this. Obviously, my anger and my frustration is valid, but this is still good. So let's take a look.
Mexico's Supreme Court has declared loudly and clearly that access to abortion care is a human right, and any effort to stop it is a violation of those rights. The country's top court.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna fucking take the Mexico filter off, by the way. I think. Hold on. Let me fix my camera, guys. Because I can't. What filter? No, it's too much. It's too much. Okay. It's too much. I'm doing serious news, man. I'm doing serious news. Okay? I can't be out here with a Mexico filter, dude. Jesus Christ. Like this is gonna be on YouTube. When did you get back to LA? Yeah, I'm in LA again.
Rule the federal government's ban on abortion is unconstitutional, and reproductive rights activists are celebrating. CNN's Rafael Romo has the details.
The effort to decriminalize abortion in Mexico has been going on for years, especially in Mexico City, where abortion rights groups have taken to the streets to say, "My body, my decision."
My immersion.
In fact, by the time the Mexican Supreme Court issued a ruling Wednesday decriminalizing abortion at the federal level, 12 out of 32 states had already invalidated laws banning abortion.
Our reaction was of pure joy and celebration, but also of being very proud of being part of this green wave, this movement that have been working to advance the abortion agenda.
In a statement, the court said that banning an abortion is unconstitutional because it violates the human rights of women and people with the capacity to gestate. Anti-abortion groups in Mexico.
Yeah, I did this, actually. They did this for me. I walk in, and they fucking decriminalize abortion immediately as soon as I did that. I stepped up.
Mexico blasted the ruling.
There are millions more Mexicans who are in favor of life, from the moment of conception until natural death.
I love that. I love that they got their own hogs, dude. It's always my favorite thing to just like see the hogs of different countries and like how they operate. It's the same takes too. Fucking awesome. Oh, it's great. Thank you so much.
The Supreme Court first ruled that it was unconstitutional to criminalize abortion in 2021. On the same day, the ground shook in Mexico. The earthquake was felt for about a minute, but the shockwaves sent across the nation by that court's ruling are still being felt.
It is a black day for Mexico. The country is in mourning. The Supreme Court of Justice.
My favorite thing is like American media is so sick because like even when they're covering culture war issues, even when they're covering culture war shit, like they still have to get both sides. Now let me explain something to you. Let me explain something to you that I consider to be really fucking indecent. One thing that the media has been doing, I can't speak on polling in Mexico. Obviously, decriminalizing abortions is a net benefit. It's a good thing. I'm glad that it happened, right? But mainstream media has this tendency to literally both sides of the equation, no matter what we're talking about, no matter what the issue is. Like, for example, in the United States of America, abortion is not a controversial topic. It is not an issue that has, an equal amount of opposition as it does support. This is not a real question. If you don't ever look at the polls, however, and you only watch news, you will hear from the news that like, oh, it's a very divisive 50-50 issue. Plenty of Americans don't want it. That's why we, might have to criminalize it in certain areas. And it's like, that's not the case. That's not the case at all. I can't speak for Mexico, but it is 70-30 across the board, including in red states, even in deep red states. Okay? It's nutty that like there is this indecent interest in always trying to find the interlocutors. Media in Mexico don't get both sides. They get whatever side the government in power agrees with, because the media is bought and more journalists get killed here than in Ukraine. In Mexico, it is more divisive among the general population. Yeah, I can see that. But ultimately, it doesn't matter. That's what the Supreme Court is there to do. Normally, in a situation, if our Supreme Court worked in the ways that it's supposed to, the Supreme Court is supposed to do things that are controversial, that are beneficial to the broader public, like in theory, right? Not controversial that is that further restricts people's rights. It's supposed to be always opening up new avenues for people, new civil liberties for people.
Justice, the highest legal institution in the country, the one in charge of watching over justice and human rights, both betray the first human right, without which no other human right can exist: life.
Back in 2020.
Yes, this is a majority Catholic country. I know, man. I know. It don't fucking matter. Okay? Cool seeing CNN use anti-choice instead of pro-life, though. Yeah. That is actually kind of cool that they're saying anti-choice instead of pro-life, because when they're American, they're pro-life. In America, they rarely ever fucking say, they never say anti-choice. But because it's in Mexico, they're like, anti-choice activists are slamming abortion decriminalization. I love seeing the way our news covers other countries, and if they have that like same smoke for our own nation doing identical things. But no, of course they do not. It's like if the American media covered American politics like they do Chinese politics, we would have communism here. Okay. Like, can you imagine if a new museum opens up and they're like, this museum is whitewashing historical atrocities committed by the American regime? Like, they would never do that. They would never in a fucking million years, like, offer the same kind of unified, broad coverage on mainstream media to, like, normal shit. Anyway, also, a lot of this Catholicism, of course, comes from, colonization, that kind of shit. But whatever.
2021, the court issued a decision on a law enacted in the northern state of Coahuila, which said that women who get an abortion may get punished with up to 3 years in prison and a fine. Exactly a week before Wednesday's ruling, Aguascalientes had decriminalized abortion, becoming the 12th state to do so. Mexico City was the first jurisdiction to end the ban on abortion in the country back in 2007, starting a trend in the still mostly conservative country where more than 3/4 of the population identify as Catholic. Abortion rights groups say even before the ruling, Mexico had already become a destination for some American women seeking an abortion.
Before, Mexican women used to go to the U.S. to look for abortion services. And now Mexico, more and more American women are coming to Mexico for services.
And while no woman can be
Most
prosecuted,
recent Mexico polls say slight majority anti-choice, but it's pretty close, and support for abortion has increased rapidly in recent years. There's 0% chance that the younger generation is not majority pro-choice. 0% chance.
any longer for having an abortion in Mexico, there are still 20 states where the procedure remains illegal, but the ruling paves the way for the federal healthcare system to start providing abortions.
Rafael Romo joining us now from Atlanta. Does this move represent a leftward shift in Mexico? That's certainly a question that's being asked on the back of this.
Yeah, well, Becky, just to give you an idea of how far to the left Mexico has moved, the party of President Andrés Manuel López Obrador, a leftist, chose former Mexico City Mayor.
Yeah, AMLO. Leftist AMLO, dude. A far leftist AMLO, dude. He's such a leftist. That's why he taxed my ass. Communism has come to Mexico, folks. They're calling it Lexico. That's how left they are. Far left.
Mayor Claudia Sheinbaum Wednesday to run in next year's presidential elections. The 61-year-old is, politically speaking, completely aligned with the president. Meanwhile, the opposition has chosen another woman, former Senator Xochitl Galvez. Even though there are many differences between them, they both support decriminalizing abortion. What happened yesterday, and Mexico is also the country with the second largest Catholic population in the Americas. 3/4 of its population identified as Catholic, but that.
I love seeing conservatives short circuit when you ask them if the woman deserves prison time. On the one hand, if the fetus is a human, then of course the mom should go to prison. She hired a hitman to kill her child, but on the other hand, every human intuitively understands that's insane and unethical, so they just flail. Yeah, the same question exists. The perfect question to ask anti-choice weirdos always is like, okay, what about cases of rape and incest, right? Because if they want to be morally consistent, they have to say, no, still you have to do an abortion, even in the case of a rape, or even in the case of like pedophilic rape and incest, right? They have to say yes, because it's still a life. And if they say yes, they're going to come across like gigantic fucking freaks like that Babylon Bee guy. Okay? And if they say no, well, then you arrive at the reality that, of course, abortion is not fucking murdering a real life. Then everybody kind of understands that.
Percentage used to be well over 90% during most of the second half of the last century, Becky.
Fascinating. Thank you. In the U.S.
You misspoke. You said to have an abortion. No, you have to birth a child. Yeah, sorry. If they force birth in instances where there is rape or incest, if they're advocating for that, every single person across the board is going to go, you're a freak. You're a psycho. I don't want to hear from you ever again. You are not a serious person. So they've completely fucked themselves over. And if they say no, then they understand that it's not actually murder. And most people don't believe that it's actually murder. The entirety of the Republican Party knew full well that it was not actually fucking murder. And that is precisely the reason why now they've shifted away from they've actually pushed for rape and incest provisions, right? Anyway.
There are signs that many women are traveling to have abortions. A year after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, a study shows that abortions have increased in states next to those where the procedure is banned. Researchers note that abortions had already been on the rise before the High Court ruling. The study was done by an organization that supports abortion rights.
We're learning new information in the federal case over.
Yeah, someone flipped a Mar-a-Lago, which we're going to talk about in a second. Is it true that Mexico's socialist? Man, what? No. I don't know where this comes from. Like, how people even, like, believe that. AMLO has done some good things, but mostly he's just, as far as I understand, just as crooked as every other fucking president that's come before him. Like, every other person in Mexican politics is just, like, very, very, very corrupt. And they always run on anti-corruption. Like, I'm going to rush to ensure that, you know, we eviscerate corruption. And then they don't. He's marginally better than previous leadership. But, I mean, he's a weird guy. He's a funny guy. He believes in, like, really crazy shit, too. Like elves and stuff. But overall, it's a mixed bag. Duendes are real? Okay, dude, chill. All right, let's move on.
Former President Donald Trump's handling of classified documents.
They're flipping, boys.
Has struck a cooperation agreement with the special counsel's office. And he agreed to testify in an exchange.
You have no idea what you're saying? I have no idea what I'm saying? You don't think AMLO thinks elves are real? Didn't he fucking, like, literally tweet about it? Hold on. Mexican president posts photo of what he claims is an elf. Mexico's president posted a photo on his social media account Saturday showing what he said appeared to be a mythological woodland spirit similar to an elf. Here it is. Here's the fucking tweet, if you don't believe me. I know it sounds like crazy. Listen, I know it sounds insane when I say stuff like that, but, like, that's not an elf, it's a leprechaun? Oh, my bad. What does he know, dude? What does he know that we don't? Meanwhile, in D.C., Biden administration asked U.S. energy companies to prepare affidavits documenting how Mexico's protectionist policies disrupted their investments as Washington prepares to escalate a trade dispute with its neighbor. So this is the only good part of his administration so far. Protectionist policies on natural resources, mineral extraction has been very good. That's why I said he's a mixed bag. You get it? Typical Americans not understanding pre-Hispanic folk tales with no context. I'm not trolling. But I thought you said everyone is entitled to at least one crazy ass belief. You said it when he watched an astrology vid. I mean, he's also like pretty fucking religious. So I don't think he only has one weird ass belief. Here in Mexico, we consider AMLO to be mainly business as usual with a couple popular measures once in a while. Oh, I heard about this one too. The president of Mexico said religious amulets would protect him against COVID. Then he caught it. When asked about COVID, he pulled out an amulet and said, "Get thee behind me, Satan." I mean, he's awesome. He's sick. I think he didn't find the elves to bless the amulets. That's why he got COVID. He got owned by COVID like that. You hate to see it, folks. All right, let's get to America, where our AMLO, our communist socialist government in the United States of America, has, just like AMLO, militarizes police heavily, okay? And what are they doing? Are they fighting the cartels? Of course not. Who are they fighting instead? The former president, who many patriots believe, is still the current president, Donald Trump. That's right. And it turns out that in at least one of the cases, there's someone who has already flipped and is cooperating with the authorities. That's right. It is the Mar-a-Lago IT worker who is now cooperating with special counsel.
Exchange, he will not be prosecuted. CNN's Sarah Murray has been following every step of this case. Sarah, people are fascinated by the idea of flipping witnesses. What does this actually mean for this case and for Jack Smith, the special prosecutor?
Well, this is interesting because we have seen other employees for the former president charged alongside him, Walt Nauta, Carlos de Oliveira. They've been using attorneys who are paid for by the Trump PAC, and we've seen them stay in the fold. That is not what's happening for Yuscil Taveras. He now has gotten another attorney. He is now cooperating with prosecutors. Basically, he was threatened with the potential charges and agreed to change his tune. Again, this is someone who was talking to other employees about the surveillance footage at Mar-a-Lago. Prosecutors say that there was an effort to try to destroy that footage. And I want to go back to some of the indictment that really lays out the conversations. And here, Yuscil Taveras is referred to as Trump employee number 4. He's in a conversation with Carlos de Oliveira, the property manager. It says de Oliveira told Trump employee 4 that the boss, presumably Trump, wanted the server deleted. Trump employee 4 responded that he would not know how to do that and that he did not believe he would have the rights to do that. Trump employee 4 told de Oliveira that de Oliveira would have to reach out to another employee who is a supervisor of security for Trump's business organization. De Oliveira then insisted to Trump employee 4 that the boss wanted the server deleted.
Biscuit de Oliveira.
And asked, what are we going to do? So even in this indictment, you see the sort of reticence of Yuscil Taveras to go along with this plot to try to destroy this surveillance footage. And now he is officially someone who is cooperating with prosecutors, again, to avoid charges in this case, Phil.
Yeah, it was clearly something the prosecutors, I think, had been looking for. Now they have it. Sarah Murray, great reporting as always. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, let's talk a lot more about this and many more new legal issues facing the president. Senior legal analyst, former assistant U.S. attorney for the Southern District of New York, Ellie Honig, is with us at the table. Also joining us, David Schoen. He was one of the attorneys who represented Trump during, his second impeachment trial. Great to have you both here. Let me just begin with you on the significance of Yuscil Taveras cooperating here.
Yeah, it's a good win for prosecutors. He was the person identified in the indictment as Trump employee 4. It's clear that some of the information in the indictment, some of the allegations are based on testimony that they got from him. But important to know, Mr. Taveras, employee 4, he did not have direct contact with Donald Trump. He had direct contact with de Oliveira. Now, that's still useful for prosecutors, but Taveras is not going to be able to say, Donald Trump told me to do this. He's going to say, this other guy told me that Trump wanted me to do this. Still useful for prosecutors, but not necessarily game over.
Yeah. Okay. David, we often hear people say, sorry, I can't answer questions. I can't talk, advice of counsel, or I'm not going to testify, right, because of counsel. That is not apparently the case with Donald Trump, who told Hugh Hewitt that that he would testify. I just want people to listen to this sound.
So if you have to go to trial, will you testify in your own defense?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You'll
So
take the stand.
That I look forward to.
Not only would he would look forward to it. Is that something that you would recommend in any of these pending cases?
Well, listen, I think in my view, it's always the client's decision. I think the law recognizes that also. And whenever someone's life or freedom is at stake, I think it's very important for that person to make the decision. Donald Trump has wanted to testify before. He wanted to testify in the Jean Carroll case. Lawyers have counseled him otherwise. It's prudent advice for any defendant generally. But I think Donald Trump believes he's a great communicator. He has proven to be a great communicator. And so I would expect him to testify.
You would expect, okay, you would expect him to testify. I really want to get into now what I am fascinated by, and that is this argument over the 14th Amendment and whether it means that former President Trump is disqualified from even being on the ballot in states to run for president. The Secretary of State of Georgia, Brad Raffensperger, wrote a really interesting and compelling op-ed in the Wall Street Journal about this. The headline is, "I can't keep Trump off the ballot." And David, he went into his legal rationale and reasoning why. The best line, by the way, is at the end where he quotes country music singer Luke Bryan, fellow Georgian, who says, quote, "Most people are good." And then he says, "Most of the time they will get it right. Trust the voters." Do you think he's right on the law there?
I think he's right, number one, on policy. By the way, the next line is, "Most mamas qualify for sainthood." That's the best line of the song.
I concur, David.
But I think he's right as a matter of policy fundamentally. I don't know that he would hold himself out as a legal.
Hassan isn't coming back. Mexican police saw him criticizing them on stream and went to his hotel room. Brother, it's not that serious. I'm just hungry. Can we add the come get emotes? No.
Scholar. There are terrific arguments on both sides of this question. The two professors who wrote the University of Pennsylvania Law Review article spent a lot of time and thought going into this. They recognize there are problems with their argument. They dismiss those problems. Ultimately, I agree with those who oppose their point of view legally. I think there are many reasons why this 14th Amendment doesn't apply to the president. First of all, I think that Article 2, Section 1 sets out the qualifications for president. Those are exclusive. I think the text of the language supports that argument. I think they had an opportunity to charge under 2383 insurrection. They didn't do that. I think this would render the second impeachment trial a nullity. I think their interpretation is subject to great abuse. They talked about indirect support qualifying to disqualify someone. They have consider a broad range of conduct. I don't think that was what was intended. There are a number of other arguments, legal arguments against it. So it's a serious argument. I'm afraid also when we see different states taking different positions on a presidential election, that in itself is problematic, as the law has recognized.
So, Ellie, the text that David is pointing to here, and this could very likely go up all the way up to the Supreme Court. They'll have to interpret the Constitution as they read it. How do you read it?
I'm not buying this 14th Amendment argument. I think this is what happens when law professors go crazy.
You think this is crazy?
I do. And here's why. There is no enforcement mechanism. The Constitution tells us nothing about how this works. Who gets to make this incredibly grave decision? Was a former official
Their argument is it's not even a question because they argue it's clearly laid out.
Right, but that's a ridiculous argument. They're saying, okay, we're just going to have individual secretaries of state unilaterally deciding, yes, in my view, even though Donald Trump's never been charged with insurrection, I think he did commit insurrection. Therefore, he's off the ballot and the American voters can't choose for or against him. That is anti-democratic. And that is also a made-up process. That's not in the Constitution. That's not in any law. Congress has had 150
We also
years.
lose
They haven't passed
content.
the law. The problem with this whole provision is nobody's told us how it works. You can't make it up now and apply it 3 years in the past because you know what that would violate? A different portion of the 14th Amendment, due process. I'm not buying this argument. I think it's creative. I give him credit for creativity. It doesn't work.
Ellie's position is supported by an 1869 case, Griffin's case. The law review writers address that. They just say, well, it was wrongly decided. Justice Chase, Supreme Court Justice, sat on that case, and he made clear there has to be some mechanism. Congress has to act. It's not self-executing.
Can I ask you finally, David, about something that we're watching, and that is John Eastman, who's here, one of the co-defendants, is talking. He went on Laura Ingraham. He spoke with her last week. He's still making claims that are unfounded, like...
This one was really fun. Co-defendants going on Fox News is always great because, like, they're not Donald Trump. Donald Trump always self-reports. Like, that's his shtick, right? He always self-reports to a detriment. You know who's not able to self-report to a detriment to the case? Donald Trump's co-defendants. And they literally don't have Donald Trump's charisma. They don't have fucking... and also, they don't have, like, the same parameters that Donald Trump operates under. So now they're just, like... Now they're just making it harder for everybody to... you, since you already told us about the Vivek interview. Wait, what? Okay. I mean, they're cooked. They're cooked.
Pence could have,
They don't even have the Riz.
certified the election in a different way. He could have paused the certification of Biden's win, et cetera. Eastman's attorney was on CNN with Caitlin Collins last night, and she asked him about the strategy of Eastman doing these interviews. I want you to listen to this exchange.
Are you worried that those comments could be used by prosecutors against your client? Have you advised him not to speak publicly?
We made a decision a long time ago in this case. Our view is Dr. Eastman is innocent. He has nothing to hide. He's clearly innocent. And we've made the decision, that risky though it certainly may be, to be as open as we can with journalists such as yourself and with anyone who wants to talk to us. For the most part, we're happy to talk to them.
So it is potentially risky for him to be speaking publicly, you think?
Oh, sure.
I'm sorry. If my lawyer's got that look, I'm not trusting. I'm not trusting him. This is not happening. I'm going to jail, dog.
It was a really interesting exchange. That attorney in particular of Eastman's is quite candid on these issues. David, I wonder what you think. You said it's always up to the client.
It's always up to the client whether I...
Yeah. Here's John Eastman.
On January, John, and just again to we clarify this, on January 6th, what did you want to happen, and how was that historical?
It's like Laura's there to help him, right? She's supposed to be trying to help him out. That's her job. She's not helping him out at all. Because if you're not ready for it, even a fucking softball interview that is supposed to clear you, not Dr. Eastman, Laura gives no fucks. No, dude, because John Eastman getting cooked will also ruin Trump's, like anytime a co-defendant is under scrutiny, that's hurting Trump's case. No matter what. Hold on. Sorry.
Historically grounded in the history of our country, how would that have taken place? So just so the viewers can understand what would have unfolded and how that would have ultimately been constitutional.
So there, several things. Some people had urged that Vice President Pence simply had power to reject electors whose certification was still pending in legal contests.
I don't believe that, but go ahead. I don't believe that.
I don't
That's
either.
one thing I don't agree with.
And I explicitly told Vice President Pence in the Oval Office on January 4th that even though it was an open issue, under the circumstances we had, I thought it was the weaker argument, and it would be foolish to exercise such power even if he had it. It was power to reject electors who...
So just so the viewers can understand what would have unfolded and how that would have ultimately been constitutional.
So there, several things. Some people had urged that Vice President Pence simply had power to reject electors whose certification was still pending in legal contests.
I don't believe that, but go ahead. I don't believe that.
I don't.
Who are the some people? I don't know why Laura Ingraham is like ripping into Eastman a little bit. Maybe he's the short end of the stick guy. He's the fall guy. I don't know. Why does he go? Why does he think that this is gonna go well for him? Even if this is like a situation where they're gonna ask you positive questions, like you're still cooked. You're like a person who's not subscribed at the top of the hour, 14 minutes in. You're gonna get an ad, no matter what. I could be in Mexico, I could be in fucking Guatemala, I could be in California, Los Angeles. I'm serving you that 3-minute ad break, baby. And you're watching it. Unless you subscribe for $5 or for free, in which case you're not watching it. You know what I mean? You're just watching the stream uninterrupted. Hey, thank you. Thank you, Volbear, for the 5 tier 1 gifted subs. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. This is exactly like being shakedown at the airport. When did you get back from Mexico? No, I applied some weird like American color correction filter so that you don't see the yellow anymore. I didn't even realize it was yellow until people were complaining about it, so I had to like do a reverse color filter.
That's one thing I don't agree with.
And I explicitly told Vice President Pence in the Oval Office on January 4th that even though it was an open issue under the circumstances we had, I thought it was the weaker argument, and it would be foolish to exercise such power even if he had it. What I recommended, and I've said this repeatedly, is that he accede to requests from more than 100 state legislators in the swing states to give them a week to try and sort out the impact of what everybody acknowledged was illegality in the conduct of the election.
I don't think everyone acknowledged it. Yeah, not everyone acknowledged it, but that was the argument that was being made, obviously. And there were obviously irregularities that everybody had seen, but whether that was, whether it rose to the level of changing the outcome of the election, again, without a legal proceeding in the states that mattered, the argument ultimately was a difficult one to make. I mean, hence here we are.
Capitalist horror. Here's Peter Navarro. Breaking news as of 3 minutes ago. Former Trump advisor Peter Navarro, convicted of contempt of Congress for refusing to cooperate with the House January 6th committee, was found guilty in a federal trial in Washington that included just 1 day of testimony from 3 prosecution witnesses and no witnesses for the defense. The 74-year-old former trade advisor was convicted of 2 contempt charges he faced, each punishable by up to a year behind bars. He said he was an econ professor at UC Irvine when I went there. This is hilarious. Yeah, I mean, this is the Trump stink. You know, you get into bed with Donald Trump, you're doing some illegal shit. You think you're above the law, and then when it turns out you're not, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like Bannon, Navarro defied a subpoena from the Select Committee that demanded information about his stolen election falsehoods and details of a brazen plan to reverse Biden's win through legislative machinations on January 6th, when Congress met in a joint session to formally count electoral votes. The session was interrupted for more than 6 hours after hundreds of riotous Trump supporters stormed the Capitol. It's pretty cool, in my opinion, to arrest or even jail some of these motherfuckers. Like, I think it's awesome. I love this shit. It's even like weak ass charges too. This shows how whack Navarro is. Can't even get RICO. You lay down with dogs, you get fleas. You lay down with Trump, you go to jail. First of all, you lay down with dogs, you get cuddles. Okay? You're wrong about that. You don't get fleas. Not every time. But the second part, you are correct on. I hate dogs. That's insane. Take a second off. Also, I would literally take the fleas. If every time I cuddled with a dog, I got fleas, I would be the most flea-having ass motherfucker, okay? Anyway.
I was said specifically to testify in the trial against that person, but I do believe that's up to the client. Here, though, there's a big difference between his maintained his innocence and he has nothing to hide and speaking voluntarily and publicly on the facts of his case. It's his right. I believe in transparency, but, you know, I'm a big fan of Caitlin Collins, and she made a very strong point about it. Yeah. I don't think Eli Honig would let his client speak like that, and I think he's a wise lawyer.
I do all I could to stop it.
We are all big fans of Caitlin Collins on this program. You're exactly right. I appreciate the debate, the discussion. David, Ellie, thanks very much.
The special counsel in the Hunter Biden.
Speaking of the American criminal justice system, the American criminal injustice system, okay? Our big, beautiful boy, Hunter Biden, has done everything right, and they're indicting him, okay? For what? Being a firm believer of the Second Amendment. A little bit of column A, a little bit of column B. You see that? On the one hand, you got Donald Trump getting fucked over. So, obviously, if Donald Trump's getting ass fucked, you got to have a situation where somebody, you know, everything needs to be balanced, like Thanos. So they're coming after our big, beautiful boy with a big, beautiful penis. Hunter Robinette Biden.
Investigation says he intends to seek an indictment by the end of this month. It's a statement part of a court filing, a mandatory court filing, and a gun possession case involving the president's son. We've told you about it for weeks now. This is a big turn of events. Senior investigative correspondent Catherine Herridge is following all of it, and she has been for weeks. Catherine, good morning.
Good morning, Tony. The prosecutor's status report is the strongest signal yet that new charges are looming against the president's son, setting it on a potential collision course with the presidential election.
After a 5-year investigation, Hunter Biden could soon be facing federal charges. Special counsel David Weiss wrote to the Delaware court the government intends to seek the return of an indictment in this case before September 29th. Harry Littman is a former federal prosecutor.
I think the message is simple. They're going to throw the book at him on a gun charge that they were previously going to let him actually work off in a couple years.
The president's son had previously reached an agreement on the charge of gun possession by a
So you can be on illegal drugs and have possession of a firearm? Exactly, dude. That's what I'm saying. I thought this was America. Listen, if that's wrong, I don't want to be right. You know what I mean? It's fucking bullshit.
Drug user that avoided prosecution if he abided by the terms for 2 years. But in July, the broader plea agreement, which included misdemeanor tax charges, collapsed, leaving the future of the gun charge deal in question, and Hunter Biden facing legal jeopardy from the newly appointed special counsel.
What charges could he be talking about?
Well, at least he's talking about the gun charge. And of course, we don't know whether the misdemeanor tax charges.
Bro, they gave him this sweetheart deal. Like, not even like a full-blown sweetheart deal, but like a deal that every fucking rich nepotism recipient gets, right? And then Republicans were like, hold on. Why doesn't this deal have like Hunter Biden collaborating with Joe Biden with like all the money that he's getting from Ukraine? And everyone was like, because that's not real. There's not evidence to do that. So then they were like, well, fuck you. If you're giving us Hunter Biden, and the only thing you can hit Hunter Biden with is like the gun charge and tax charge, then like, yeah, throw the book at him. They set it up where Hunter Biden probably wanted to ensure that beyond double jeopardy, that there was no other circumstance where like the Trump administration, if they once got back into power, could reopen these cases and try to arrest them again, or maybe even successfully arrest them, especially when Trump is like literally saying that that's what he wants to do. So they cut a deal where he was going to plead guilty on everything. And then it was it. So now they're back at the table and they have to cut another deal. Well, they can't even cut the deal now because he's just going to fight it. Why do they want to arrest Hunter Biden? Because I was going to say because he has a big cock, but that's not the only reason. No, they're just like, they don't care about Hunter Biden, man. They just want fucking Joe Biden. They want to take Joe Biden down. And they believe that the best way to do that is by claiming that Hunter Biden was doing illicit deals with companies that he had no business doing deals with, which, for the record, is true. But such is the nature of American politics. You're basically a part of the royal family. You're going to keep doing illicit deals. And ultimately, as long as you don't connect it back to your dad, you're set. They all do it. It's fucked up. But that's not what conservatives are after. Conservatives don't give a shit about like nepotism. They engage in it as well. Look at Trump, Jared Kushner, Donald Trump Jr. You know what I mean? These guys all did it. They care about direct connections that Hunter Biden had with Joe Biden. They want to use Hunter Biden as a weapon against Joe, but they can't.
Could also be included.
Biden attorney for the president's son told CBS News they believe.
Not to defend your boy too much, but how is what Trump kids doing were any different? It's not. It's both wrong. I've never, all jokes aside, like what Hunter Biden did is totally ridiculous, right? Like, I agree. 100%. The point is it illegal? If the point is, should it be illegal? Absolutely. I'm fucking on board. The point is it illegal? Not unless there is a direct connection between Hunter Biden and his dad, where his dad actually did some stuff specifically so that Hunter Biden could justify getting these fat salaries. If Hunter Biden lies to Burisma or to like some Chinese emissaries or whatever, okay, if he just lies to them and says like, my dad is Joe Biden, he's the vice president, I can get you access to him, and then they pay him $500,000 a year or millions of dollars a year, and then he never actually has access to Joe Biden beyond like him calling him up and telling everybody else in the room to like shut the fuck up. Hey, like, shh, guys, I'm calling my dad. Shh, hold on. And then he fucking calls him and puts him on speakerphone just to prove that he has the capacity to talk to the vice president, and that's it. Then you got. Unless you are, I don't know, someone prosecuting Hunter Biden on behalf of fucking Burisma or the Chinese emissaries or whatever, there's nothing illegal there. Like, he just defrauded you into thinking that he had more access to the White House than he actually does. Does that make sense? Which, unless you are literally one of the companies, that's like, well, you promised us this and you never gave it to us. What the fuck's going on? Give us the money back. You can't. You have no legal recourse. You have nothing. You got finessed. So, you know, the Republican Party can make a big stink about it as hard as they can, as hard as they want to, but so far, they haven't yielded any real tangible pieces of evidence that directly connect Hunter Biden to Joe Biden, and like that Joe Biden did something that Joe Biden did something at the behest of his son, Hunter Biden. You know what I mean? So that's the reason why the gun charge, which is like a laughable thing from the perspective of the Republican Party, is now a serious charge that they're trying to throw the book at Hunter Biden over. And I find it kind of funny because like the two main charges he has is literally tax evasion and gun possession, like unlawful gun possession or lying in a form where he said he wasn't doing drugs when he purchased the gun when he was. And it's like, but that's what being a Republican is all about, you know? Kind of odd.
The agreement for the gun offense still stands and prevents any additional charges from being filed against Mr. Biden, who has been abiding by the conditions, including regular visits by the probation office. And while President Biden has continually expressed support for his son, he recently stressed the Justice Department's independence in this case.
I have no comment on any investigation that's going on. That's up to the Justice Department, and that's all I have to say.
Hunter Biden.
Lock him up, Jack. You're on your own, Jack. It's the Mac attack.
Biden's attorneys say they expect a fair resolution of the case based on evidence and law, not outside political pressure. This development comes as House Republicans have...
I believe Hunter wasn't literally a part of the Biden administration. Trump's kids were literally advisors in the White House. Yeah, I know. That's why it's fucking extra ridiculous that the Trump-supporting Republican Party is like freaking the fuck out about Hunter Biden when like Donald Trump literally had Jared Kushner facilitate deals, his son-in-law, facilitate deals with the American government, like as the American government, specifically so that they could get favorable investment opportunities, like, or he could like hawk his like shitty product to Saudi Arabia. Like, it's nuts that you have like the most corrupt people not even deflecting away. It's like, you know what it feels like? When the Trump team is like pushing the Hunter Biden button over and over again, it feels like a dude who's like a convicted child sex trafficker going around and being like a leader of the QAnon movement. You know what I mean? It's like, brother, you have like charges against minors. Like, you have endangered children, and you're fucking talking about how like other people are pedophiles in positions of power. It's like, you're the pedophile. You know? Like, on the one hand, we have hypothetical pedophiles in positions of power in the Democratic Party, if we are to trust you. And then on the other hand, we have like the actual pedophile that went to prison for doing pedophilia, which ironically is exactly what happens within the QAnon movement all the time anyway. You know? That's what they're doing with the fucking, that's what they're doing with the Hunter Biden situation. It's weird.
Have already intensified their investigations of the president and his son. They want Special Counsel Weiss to testify as early as this month, Nate.
Catherine, thank you.
I know we don't care about Hunter as a person, but isn't this a worthwhile goal of our politics to go after leaders' families just because they're their families? I do think it's a worthwhile goal. They should do that to everyone all the time. I just know that they won't. That's the problem. Does that make sense? Like, I'm not going to sit here and act like this is the most valid, most honest, like well-intentioned investigation, because it's not, right? It's fucking bullshit. Do I think that justice should be served? Absolutely. I do. Justice absolutely should be served. Hunter Biden should face repercussions for the gun charges and tax evasion. Right? Did you talk about Elon and the Ukraine stuff? Oh my God, I can't wait to talk about that. Dude, listen. As much as everybody yells at me for fucking, being pro-Russia, like hating Ukraine or whatever the fuck, whatever kind of insane shit, ain't nobody's out here as actually pro-Russia, like Elon Musk. Dude, what is he doing? Dude, Defense Minister Ian Miles Chong, dude. Oh my God, we got to cover that. I just retweeted this. Hold on. Ian Miles wrong, baby. Dude. I love this story so much. It's so psychotic. Here, let's read it. Elon Musk secretly ordered his engineers to turn off his company's Starlink satellite communications network near the Crimean coast last year to disrupt the Ukrainian sneak attack on the Russian naval fleet, according to an excerpt adapted from Walter Isaacson's new biography of the eccentric billionaire titled Elon Musk. As Ukrainian submarine drones strapped with explosives approached the Russian fleet, they lost connectivity and washed ashore harmlessly, Isaacson writes. Here's from back then. Sunday morning, to bake or not to bake cookies? That is not even a question. Definitely bake. Eva Fox says, what are your plans for Sunday? He says, feels so long ago. A pleasant memory. Oh, this is from, this is from 2016. Is when he said this. Eva Fox says, what are your plans for Sunday? He says, feels so long ago, a pleasant memory, smile. I've been up all night trying to think of any possible way to de-escalate this war. Ian Miles Chong. Might be a good idea to take Starlink offline for the terminals used on the front lines. Could encourage them to reconsider their position on advancing towards Crimea and leading the world further into the brink of total war. We have devolved as a nation. We have devolved as a society. We are run by the dumbest fucking baboon-brained idiots that are getting, that have so much unchecked power, which already is frustrating. But then, what do they do with that unchecked fucking power, dude? They are capable of actually yielding results in the real world, tangible results. They literally disrupted Ukrainian ops. Oh, it's so good. It's the best. This is the best. It's so fucking awesome. This man has never stepped foot on U.S. soil. Ian Miles Chong lives and has always lived in Malaysia. He just LARPs as a guy who lives in Portland, Oregon. He has never stepped foot on U.S. soil. Okay? He used to be a fucking Kotaku writer style, like leftist, annoying rad lib. He then swapped out the grift to become a right-wing nutso during Gamergate. And he has never lived in America. And only talks about Portland, Oregon like he fucking lives there. That guy was able to change billionaire Elon Musk's mind, potentially, allegedly, okay, into shutting off Starlink operations on the Ukrainian front lines, dude. What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing? What is the legality of something like this? I've never even heard of this. I have no idea how you prosecute this. I have no idea what you... First of all, Ian Miles Chong lives in Malaysia. What are you going to do? Fucking... He never comes to America. It's not illegal for him to fake as though he lives in Portland. You know what I mean? So, he's in fucking Malaysia. He's not stepping foot on U.S. soil anyway. Okay? Elon Musk, on the other hand, is a defense contractor. Okay? Elon Musk, on the other hand, is a defense contractor. And I guess, like, what? The American government can say, like, please do not use Starlink. You know what I mean? They're like, please don't use Starlink anymore. This guy can just shut it off at any given moment. God, it's so wild. Like, we used to be a country, man. We used to do coups. You know what I mean? Like, this is the military-industrial complex is America's, like, last remaining industry, okay? It's the last viable industry in the United States of America. And we've made piecemeal out of that as well. And, like, this is how we let it, this is how we let it fly. It has to be a breach of contract. Yeah, but, like, what are you supposed to do? Like, what? Ukrainians are going to fucking sue Starlink, I guess? Okay. Don't pretend that big business didn't have a shitload of influence over coups in South America. They did. But they collaborated in unison with the American government. That's what I'm saying. They're, like, when big business and the American government come together, they're doing it together. They're like, they're operating at the behest of big business. This is just one guy going, going against the interest of the rest of the military-industrial complex and the rest of the American state apparatus, State Department, American military. You know what I mean? But I don't even care about that. I can't, like, this story is awesome because it's not just Elon Musk operating on his own on a whim. It's that he's getting one guide by Ian Miles wrong. He's never, like, what's happening? It's like this is as stupid as showing Kid Rock plans to invade North Korea. Okay? And oh shit, we literally did that. Donald Trump actually did that. What is this timeline that we're existing in where these people who are in positions of power, like unimaginable, demigod-like power, are doing the funniest things over and over again? Ronan Farrow wrote a major article on this on August 21st, which I've been meaning to read. It's like the NBA team letting a crazy fan make a trade. This is like if an NBA team let the craziest Twitter fan make a choice on a trade. Yeah. Like, why are there no adults running the operation? Especially when you think about, like, this is the American military. Like, this is supposed to be the one aspect of American existence, the might of America that, like, just works, right? It is supposed to be a well-oiled machine. Now, obviously, it can't be super well-oiled. It's too big. There's always going to be issues. There's always going to be penny pinchers, but, like, not to this degree, right? I don't know. I don't know how to, like, what is the equivalent to this? Is there an equivalent to this? What is this?
Held in contempt.
We think that The evidence established that, in fact, President Trump instructed Dr. Navarro to invoke executive privilege. Oh, shit. Womp womp.
First time that a senior presidential aide who has served his president for 4 years has ever been held in contempt of Congress.
I mean, we also pay for Ukraine to have it. He made the DOD pay, but still turned it off. Yeah, there's that aspect too. It's like, would love to see how the private sector triggers will defend this. Yeah, I'll talk about the Gen Z candidate in Texas.
There are legal issues here that need to be decided by the Court of Appeals. Judge Maida decided, based upon an evidentiary hearing last week, that there was inadequate evidence to show that President Trump had formally instructed Dr. Navarro to invoke executive privilege. Respectfully, we disagree with that decision. We think that the evidence established that in fact President Trump instructed Dr. Navarro to invoke executive privilege. But in any event, we think that based upon the separation of powers between Congress and the executive, that executive privilege is part and parcel of the office of the President of the United States, and that no express invocation of privilege was even necessary. Otherwise, President Reagan, for example, would have no executive privilege, and any confidential conversations he had with his senior aides at the time would be waived, and you all could ask his aides what President Reagan spoke to about sensitive matters. So
I don't know how that works. Can you do that? I have no idea. I mean, it doesn't seem like you can. Well, the courts don't seem to think you can, for the record, because, yeah, Peter Navarro might be. I mean, he's guilty. He's found guilty in contempt of Congress.
Go ahead and talk, man. Go ahead. Sad day for America, not because they were guilty verdicts, because I can't come out and have an honest, decent conversation with the people of America. People of America, I want you to understand that this is the problem we have right here. This kind of divide in our country between the woke Marxist left and everybody else here. And
bitch, you're going to jail. Shut the fuck up. Well, I mean, actually, I don't know. Will he go to jail? Do people really go to jail for being in contempt of Congress? I mean, technically you can. It's supposed to be 2 years in jail, but I don't think he will.
This is nuts. So what I want to try to do here is have an interesting discussion about what just happened. That's what you all.
What does that have anything to do with contempt of Congress? Just wait. He's about to be like, hey, trans people are the real reason why I'm going to jail. Like, dude, they don't have an out. When you don't have an out and you're a right-wing guy, you have a couple avenues that you can ultimately hit, which, by the way, ironically, the Mehdi Hasan Vivek Ramaswamy interview will perfectly demonstrate exactly what I'm talking about. Where the fuck is that? That interview, you will see Vivek Ramaswamy tries to hit those parachutes over and over again. One of them is Donald Trump. Sorry. Donald Trump is the greatest president of our generation, of our time, perhaps of all time, and Americans don't want that. Okay, that's number one. Number two, so that's the first parachute cord. Number two is trans people are crazy. There's only two genders, male and woman. Okay? That's another ripcord that you can hit. And then the last one is the one that Peter Navarro was using here, which is, of course, we just can't even have a conversation anymore. We just can't even do it. We can't have a conversation anymore. People just don't want to have conversations. It's like, bro, you had a conversation with the president, okay? And that conversation led you to jail. Fuck you mean?
I want to know. You want to know what just happened. So I'm going to give Mr. Raleigh first crack at this. And go ahead and talk, man. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah, he's been getting heckled nonstop.
There's cameras here. The marshals just saw you. The marshals just saw you. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. You just assaulted me. That man just assaulted me. He stuck a flagpole in between my legs.
Yeah.
Don't touch me.
She almost said he stuck a flagpole in my ass.
There you go.
All right.
Now they're calling protective services. I was just assaulted.
Look, if you got a sign,
No, I
hold it
didn't.
over there.
Liar.
I can hold it anywhere I want.
Yeah.
Chat, stop asking me if I'm in Mexico
Let the man talk.
when you already know I'm in Mexico.
Man, go ahead, Peter. Go ahead and talk.
Okay, yes, I'm in Mexico.
But go ahead and talk, man. Go ahead and talk.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
Go ahead and talk, man. Go ahead.
This is so funny.
There's cameras here. The marshals just saw you. The marshals just saw you. You're in trouble. You're in trouble. That man just assaulted.
Oh, this man is like, he was an aide in the White House. He was an aide in the White House. He was he's a doctor, a professor. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck are we doing here? I'm late to the stream, but have you discussed this already? What is this? Brother, this is from like an hour ago. I'm investigating Colin Thompson, Cast Media, and Podcast One. Have you been scammed, defrauded, or not paid? Let's talk. I got to talk to my agents to see what our deal was, because we might have been fucked over. Okay. But I don't know if we were fucked over due to our agents, or if they just didn't actually pay us the amount of money that we were supposed to be paid. It's about the Cast thing. Yeah, I'm investigating Colin Thompson, Cast Media, and Podcast One. Have you been scammed, defrauded, or not paid? Let's talk.
Sticking in the legal space, I want to talk about something that has been tough for. I want to talk about something. Our podcast.
Yeah, I was curious about your connection to the story. Well, my connection to the story is that we did something with. We were also under Cast. We had a podcast under Cast, and it didn't go great because they made us fucking read all these goddamn ads. And then they claimed that we made over the course of our entire fucking experience with Cast, which was almost a year, they said that we made a total of $6,000 or something. Which I didn't really give a fuck about anyway. We never got paid until the end of our deal. Okay? And the only thing Will ever got, which they tried to give me as well, was a Rothy shoes. And I was like, I don't fucking want those shoes, man. So Will got paid in shoes technically. And we at the end of it got I think $6,000, but we did ad reads every fucking episode. Think about that. Every fucking episode. It's nuts. It's unimaginable. $6,000 is a lot of money, is what you would say correctly, understandable. But for a podcast that was, I think, in the top 10 for politics originally, one ad read is not even fucking $6,000. You know what I mean? It was nuts. No, not $3,000 shoes. No, they gave. No. Will jokes and says. Top 10 when Fear Malding was top 10 politics in the top 10 politics podcast. And I don't even know what the fuck we're Theo's talking 4 million. That's insane.
Was defrauded. We were stolen from. We were taken advantage of. A lot of ways to say it. The company that did it is Cast Media, and the man that did it is Colin Thompson. And I'm going to put his picture in here. And it's, I don't know exactly how to say this. I'm going to do my best. We're part of a larger group of podcasts that were stolen from, right? We were in total, just between talking with folks, there's up to $4 million that I know of that people were taking advantage of. We're in the 6 figures. I know of podcasts that are in the 7 figures.
Oh, he means total. He means across the board from multiple other podcasts. Will you ever have Tony Hawk back on? I feel like he vibe with y'all. But Castle's a fuck you there. Tony Hawk did not vibe with us, brother. What are you talking about?
And Colin Thompson, that's his name. I want to say his name so you know it. People get taken advantage of a lot in business, and businesses use tactics and stuff to hide themselves. And they'll use bankruptcy or the threat of this or that, and he may get my money. That's okay. You know, I'm fortunate that I can still have touring and that I can take care of myself. But you fuck with the wrong rat, Colin. I'll tell you that, brother. And I'll just tell you guys what happened. We had a deal with this company, right? And it was started off good, and then it started to get where we were getting less of our payments. And we were reading the ads. We do the ads, you know, we read them out loud, and and you guys support some of them, and thank you. And then it got to be where we were getting paid less of the payment we were owed. And they sell all the ads a year in advance.
Yeah, for us, like, we had no, like, our biggest problem is between Will and I, our biggest problem was that, like, we just didn't give a shit. Because, like, I didn't care about the podcast as, like, a revenue stream. But for Theo Vaughn, this is a huge revenue stream for him, right? So, like, that's why we definitely got fucked over as well. But, like, I wasn't even completely oblivious to it. Mostly because, like, I didn't give a shit about, I did not give a shit about making money off the podcast. I only cared about just, like, making a podcast. And even on that same guy, same company. I was more pissed about, like, not being able to do it whenever I wanted to. Like, Fear and Now is exactly what I wanted to do as a podcast, okay? That was my goal. I wanted to have full autonomy. And because I personally did not want to deal with, like, the production side, we just went with a production company instead. My agency set it up. It wasn't, I don't know if the deal was good or not. You know what I mean? I have no fucking clue. But they had, like, editorial control. The hours were terrible. When they had, like, a decent level of editorial control at least. The hours were fucking terrible. Like, they never had enough. They did not have good times for us to be able to shoot the podcast. Right? It was very frustrating. And, like, the irony is, after a year of doing this podcast, after a year of doing Fear and Malding, before we switched it over to Fear and, we got paid, like, I think our final payout was like $6,000 or something. And every episode had like 3 different fucking ads. They got so lucky with us because, like, we don't give a shit. You know what I mean? They got so lucky with us because we don't give a fuck. So we just kind of complain about it, and that's it.
So you're kind of stuck into the year, right?
6K just having fun, actually not bad. Brother, at that point, you're not wrong. You know what I mean? It is fun, and I love doing it, and I don't give a shit, and that's why it's like, whatever, who gives a fuck? Because I am just having fun, and I just wanted to have a podcast. But you do understand that at a certain point, it's like I am a media company, right? Like, I am a singular individual, but still, it's like I'm like a media company. It's like a much larger media company coming in and basically fucking a much larger media company coming in and basically fucking over, like, I don't know, an actor or something, and just being like, yeah, dog, like, you had fun acting though, right? Like, we got robbed. Who robbed us? Austin, this was before your time, okay? And I don't even care ultimately because, like I said, I'm very happy with our current podcast. So if the individual is prosecuted and convicted, violations of 192 are punishable by a fine of up to 100,000 in imprisonment. What? Austin is like a shooting star in Fear and. No, Austin wants to get in on. Austin either is confused or wants to get in on this fucking lawsuit. He's like, yeah, Fear and Malding. I was a part of that. Like, this motherfucker. The only thing he's not a part of is the top of the hour ad break because he's been a subscriber for as long as he has been. You know what I mean? Fear and TikTok is popping off. Oh, this one was.
Do you guys want to care about something that women care about?
Are you kidding me? We care so much about women. Beautiful.
This is funny. Anyway, like I was saying, at the top of the hour, there's a 3-minute ad break, so you're about to get fucking hit with that. Austin won't be because he's a subscriber. You know what I mean? Let's fucking go, baby. There's a 3-minute ad break now. You know, I didn't think you were in Mexico until you turned the Mexico filter on. First of all, I didn't turn the Mexico filter on. I turned the Mexico filter off this is what it looks like in Mexico all the time. This is just what it looks like in Mexico. I didn't even realize that it's just like it looks different out here. I just I had to do color correction so that American eyes can fucking see Mexico like it's America or something. You know what I mean? It's just what it I don't know what it is. Like, I also was like you. For the longest time, I thought that, like, oh, the Mexico filter is bullshit. Like, that's not what it looks like. You know what I mean? That's not what it looks like in Mexico. Like, no, it literally, it does. It just looks like this all the time. Straight up. Ask the Flexicans in the chat. They're here. They'll tell you. AMLO is just Lamau rearranged. That's true. The No Politics on the Pod is actually working. Cutie said in white about it that she basically didn't know what January 6th was. Oh, that's awesome. How's the food so far? Fucking awful, because we're in a resort. It's like the classic all-you-can-eat resort. If you go to a fucking all-you-can-eat resort, it's going to be shit food because they have to give you food nonstop. So the food isn't great. It's very mid. It's not like not edible. It's not really, really bad. It was annoying seeing H3 not remember that it was you who also got screwed by Cass when trying to remember who else had issues with them. That's funny. Institutionalized food like a hospital, university, or prison. You eat chicken and rice every day? That's true. Do they have restaurants at the resort? They do. You guys are confusing the H3 crowd. Yeah. The filter is a bit too yellow. It's like the Iraq filter. Hey man, there is no filter, okay? There is no filter. I just took the filter off. That's why there is no filter. Here, you want me to put the color correction filter back on? So you don't actually see what it looks like out here? Because I can do that if you want. Here. This is what it looks like when I apply the color correction filter. Okay? For your American eyes to basically look at Mexico and think Mexico feels and looks exactly like America. The gringo filter. See, it's confusing people. They're saying, how are you back in LA so quick? This is what I'm talking about, dude. This is what I'm talking about. People don't get it. Are you in real Mexico or resort Mexico? No, I'm in resort Mexico. See, people are saying, I just tuned in. Why are you in America? I thought you were in Mexico. See, I don't want to confuse people. Guys, I'm going to take the filter off. Okay? I'm taking the filter off. I'm sorry. People are too confused. I can't. You got the Breaking Bad Mexico filter matched exactly? Excuse me. That's not a filter. That's the whole point. It's real. What the fuck? Dude. And then tumbleweeds. That's nuts. How the fuck do Americans get away with this shit, dog? This is nuts. This is actually crazy that it is literally the fucking same. I was just making a joke. This filter shit is annoying. Oh, fuck. Chat. Why did we clap him so fast? I wanted to see a guy go, you're a news monkey. Why don't you do the news? This filter shit is annoying. I just want leftist news from someone who's not annoying. Where do I go for that? What did he say? Camp counselor has never... This filter shit is annoying as fuck. I just want leftist news going somewhere less annoying. Bro really said you can't have fun. Like, there's no fun here. Man, I'm on fucking vacation with my family. You better get excited that I'm still fucking covering the news because there's not really anything else going on here anyway, and I can't really do too much. And I like streaming. All right, let's talk about Enrique Tarrio, former leader of the Proud Boys and government asset, a CI, who, by the way, 100% is a CI because they used that, at least his team used it, in his defense to try and lower his sentence, which, as you can tell from his 22 years in prison sentence, did not work. But they still tried it.
Former leader of the far-right group, the Proud Boys, who just received the longest prison sentence so far after the assault on the Capitol. A judge ordered Enrique Tarrio.
Bro, I do also kind of feel like the American criminal justice system is literally like no matter what happens, they do hit the brown and black folk harder. Like, it's so funny because he wasn't actually there. He wasn't actually there. He did facilitate it. He did plan it. He wasn't actually there because he got arrested the day before on gun charges, which led all of us to believe that he was probably like working with the law enforcement and was like scot-free. Meanwhile, muted? What do you mean? Why am I muted? Why are you saying muted? Meanwhile, the other fucking 3%er guy got like 16 years. This guy got 22. Oh, I muted? How about you guys stop writing stuff as soon as you see it in the chat? I mean, how about you, as soon as you experience something on stream, just don't write it immediately in the chat. It's okay, though. You were probably looking out for me. That's nice of you. Thank you. All right, let's continue.
Tarrio to serve 22 years, more than 2 decades, for his role in plotting, planning, and orchestrating the January 6th siege. Scott McFarlane was there in the courthouse in Washington during the sentencing.
Convicted of seditious conspiracy, hatching and executing the plot to block the peaceful transfer of power, Proud Boys leader Enrique Tarrio received his sentence Tuesday. Tarrio wasn't actually in Washington on January 6th, but prosecutors argued he galvanized the Proud Boys and committed a calculated act of terrorism, calling him not a leader, but the leader of the conspiracy. Judge Tim Kelly agreed, citing a message Tarrio sent to followers celebrating the January 6th attack, reading, "Make no mistake, we did this."
He was proud. He's like, make no mistake, I, Enrique Tarrio, planned, facilitated, and acted out the desires of the President Donald Trump, our glorious Lord and Savior. I did this pretty much alone. Fuck it. Only send me to jail if someone's going to jail. That's that's how proud I am, dude.
And he sentenced Tarrio to 22 years in prison, the longest sentence in any January 6th case.
Mr. Tarrio was the leader of this riot on January 6th that attacked the Capitol, regardless of whether he was president or not. And because of that,
it is pretty funny that, like, the fucking guy who got the most wasn't even physically there, which, by the way, obviously that doesn't absolve you. Like, don't misunderstand me. But the fact that there were other leaders that were physically there that got less time than he did, I'm telling you, man, the criminal justice system is like, oh, he's brown. Like, he got an extra penalty, dude.
he got the longest sentence, more than his lieutenants received.
The prison term was short of the 33 years prosecutors sought, following a pattern the judge set with other Proud Boys members recently sentenced for seditious conspiracy. Tarrio's mother and sister both wept as they asked the judge to show leniency before Tarrio, in his orange jail jumpsuit, said he was...
It's crazy because, like, again, he wasn't there. His lieutenants were there, and they got less than he did, right? Like his lieutenants were fucking there. Like, they were literally funneling people and shit. Like, the fact that he got the highest sentence, I know that he had the highest role, but he got the highest sentence even though he also literally is a snitch. Like, that's crazy, bro. I mean, deserved and also awesome. Don't misunderstand me. It's fucking great.
He was sorry for his actions, called his case a bitter pill to swallow, and said the injured police officers deserve better, and acknowledged he knew Donald Trump lost the 2020 election. Tarrio's lawyer spoke after leaving court.
There'll be a day and a time where an appeal will come.
Prison boys! TikTok! Dude, the funniest part about this is, like, how every protester is getting nutty with it. They're always there. They rarely ever have, like, supporters at this point. It's almost always just counter protesters that are like, fuck you. It's so sick. It's so funny. Oh, I think my food is here. Hold up.
Appeal to come soon.
The prosecution of the U.S. Capitol attack is the largest in American history, with nearly 1,100 defendants. I've been to a lot of these hearings, haven't seen a crowd the size we saw yesterday at Tarrio's hearing, roughly 100 people. Nate, clearly Tarrio has some supporters, but also his number of detractors.
You're right about that, Scott. Thank you. The Me Too uproar in Spain following its Women's World Cup victory has hit a new high. The national team's coach, who was the focus of controversy before the tournament, was fired yesterday. Many team members want to see more changes, including the dismissal of Spain's top soccer official. He's been under fire for weeks over the way he kissed a player during the World Cup medal ceremony. Holly Williams has more.
Jorge Vilda coached the Spanish women's soccer team to a World Cup victory last month. Now he's been fired. It follows this: the president of the Spanish Soccer Federation, Luis Rubiales, kissing one of the victorious players, Jenny Hermoso, on the lips. He claims it was consensual. She's repeatedly denied that. Rubiales apologised for causing offence the next day, but after calls for his resignation, he dismissed the outrage as, quote, false feminism. I will not resign, he said repeatedly. The coach of the women's team applauded that. But the same day, 81 Spanish players announced they'd no longer compete for their country until Rubiales is removed, and other changes are made to the team's leadership.
They look more like cosmetic changes than anything else.
Hello, and Semra Hunter is an American sports journalist who works in Spain. She says sacking Jorge Vilda and replacing him with his female deputy doesn't go far enough. When players criticised Vilda last year, she says the Spanish Soccer Federation reacted like this.
They talked down to them, they were condescending, they referred to them as capricious little girls.
You're describing a whole system in football in Spain that is sexist and even misogynistic.
You're absolutely right. And it's not me saying this, it's the women players themselves. These are not just two rotten apples, it's the whole crate is completely rotten.
Holly Williams, CBS News, London.
They have lots of thoughts in Spain. I'm glad the women are speaking up.
We have brand new CNN polling this morning, and those numbers are looking rough for President Biden. Could be a troubling sign for Democrats and the president's hopes for re-election in 2024. Biden's approval rating sinking to 39%. Nearly 60% of voters think Biden's policies are making the economy worse, and close to 70% of Democrats want somebody else to run for president. His overall approval rating among Democratic voters, that's slipping from July. And when it comes to hypothetical matchups between Biden and the leading GOP presidential candidates, it's a tight race with no clear winner.
Except for Nikki Haley, who in this hypothetical matchup is leading President Biden by 6 points. Donald Trump ahead by 1 point of Biden. This all comes right before President Biden heads off on a big foreign trip. He's set to meet with world leaders at the G20 summit in India. Happy to be joined this morning in studio by our political director, David Chalian, with all this new polling. And I mean, some people think polls. This one, to me, is totally riveting and fascinating about.
One, I ordered a shit ton of food, and two, there's like a situation in the room, where it's like, it like smells kind of moldy. So I guess they were looking into the AC. But for the people who were saying, Hassan, get tacos. I did. I fucking did. Flank steak tacos, okay? It's Taco Thursday, baby. Don't you fucking worry about it. It's not the best looking tacos, but what are you gonna do? You know? You make do out here, okay? It's fucking resort food. Tortillas aren't flour, they're corn.
How Americans think Joe Biden is handling his job, including Democrats.
Yeah, and it's going to set off some alarm bells in the White House, no doubt. You noted
it's actually good.
His approval rating is down at 39%. 61% of Americans disapprove. He's been hanging at that low point, guys, for quite some time. We talk about the mood of the country 14 months out from a presidential election. Not that great. 3 in 10 Americans, that's it, say things are going well in the country. 7 in 10 say things are going badly in the country. And 58% of Americans in this poll say that Joe Biden's policies have actually worsened economic conditions in the country. Only 24% say they've improved economic conditions. This is why we hear him talking about Bidenomics every day he's out and about in the country.
David, the president.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing ever. I don't know how they'll resolve that, but the idea that like it's his absolute weakest fucking aspect, and he's just still literally like, no dog, like Bidenomics, I'm gonna put my name on it, Jack. Like, I feel like he's just trying to run on New Game Plus difficulty for no fucking reason. I don't know who fucking decided that this was a good idea. I guess maybe like they know something I don't. I don't know.
Is the oldest president.
I gotta pee. Hold on.
He was this morning. He will be tomorrow. That's just the reality. And White House officials acknowledge that. Don't love talking about it, but have long made the case that's not the kind of pervasive issue for voters. It's not going to be the determinant factor. What does this poll show?
Well, it's certainly on the mind of voters. We'll see how important it becomes, but it clearly is a major concern. We asked folks, Phil, are you seriously concerned that Biden's age might negatively affect his ability to serve a full term? 3/4 of Americans are indeed seriously concerned. 3/4 of Americans don't agree on anything, but there's concern there. You see it here too, seriously concerned about his current mental and physical competence being negatively impacted by his age, and seriously concerned that his understanding of the next generation's concerns are impacted. 68% say that. And the economy, as we talked about, that is what is behind these numbers. Why Joe Biden is in a sort of dead heat margin of error race with nearly every Republican tested. Poppy noted that Nikki Haley is the exception to that. She's running outside the margin of error. But look at this. Trump, margin of error race, no clear leader. DeSantis, Pence, Scott, Ramaswamy, Christie, they are all with no clear leader. And I just want to note, guys, one other thing that is going to cause agita for the White House team is this motivation factor. Are you extremely motivated to vote in next year's presidential election? Look at this. Republicans and Republican-leaning independents have a 10-point advantage over Democrats on that score.
Yeah, that really matters. How people feel on that front, David. Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
So let's talk about what these numbers portend to people who served up close with Joe Biden. His former White House Communications Director, Kate Bedingfield, also CNN political commentator and former senior advisor to Barack Obama, David Axelrod. David, you look at these numbers and they're not just not good, they're bad.
Yeah, Poppy, I heard you say they were fascinating. I forget what the other word you used. I'm not so sure that's how the president will receive them over his morning coffee this morning. These numbers are not good, and they're consistent with most of the other polling that we've seen. The country's in a sour mood. He's not getting credit for what I think is a fairly substantial list of achievements, and there is real concern about.
Bro, I've talked about this already. Every liberal economist in the country right now keeps talking about how good the economy is because it has improved in comparison to where it was during COVID, or at least like post-COVID, especially when inflation was a major problem, like when gas prices were soaring. Inflation still is a problem, not as big as a problem as it was a couple months ago, or a year ago. However, the issue is, it's not like if you curb back on inflation, even if prices adjusted back to pre-COVID levels, people still were frustrated. So that is the major problem here. The difference between like econ guys, neoliberal econ guys that write for the fucking New York Times saying, but you don't understand, look at the numbers, versus like how people feel on the ground. There's a big mismatch, and nobody comprehends it. Nobody can understand what the mismatch is. And it's very strange. And they've defaulted to this like weird position where they keep saying, no, it's because Americans are very stupid and don't understand that the economy is actually doing really well right now. And to a degree, there is truth to that. Not that Americans are stupid, even though Americans are stupid. The truth is that, yes, it takes a while for people to comprehend whether the economy is doing well or not. And more important than that, it is certainly vibes based. In many respects, it is certainly vibes based because it's not exactly married to what the situation is like on the ground for the average worker. However, the reason for this mismatch is pretty clear. It's not like people are doing all that great. I will explain to you something. I look at a lot of neoliberal guys on Twitter. Okay, it takes a while for the vibes on the ground to catch up to the reality, to the economic reality. Okay, but I'll give you an example. People love using counters to the wages haven't increased accordingly in comparison to productivity, which is real. Wages have remained stagnant in comparison to the productivity, which has skyrocketed due to technological advancements, right? Neoliberals will look at that and go, real wages have actually dramatically and steadily increased since the 70s. It hasn't stopped. And the irony is that, yes, real wages in comparison, if you add in benefits, have increased. But guess what they've increased on? The price of insurance. So if you add your healthcare compensation into your benefits package and you look at real wages that way, then yes, wages have increased, except not a single piece of that has gone into people's fucking pockets. It's just you're paying more for the mediator that doesn't even pay for your fucking healthcare. Your healthcare quality has not improved. That's it. It's just going to insurance premiums. How are you, a fucking econ guy, and not able to comprehend that, like, it doesn't actually fucking translate to your purchasing power? People go, oh, dude, what do you mean? If you look at real wages, salaries have gone up, real wages have gone up. What the fuck are you talking about? It keeps going up. And it's like, brother, what matters is your purchasing power. If your purchasing power has not gone up, then you don't get a fucking wage increase. You get a wage decrease. If your insurance, for example, goes up, therefore, technically, the benefits and your salary that your company is paying you has gone up, but you didn't see a single dime of that, then your wages didn't go up. Your wages went down. How do you make econ people understand this concept? I don't know. I mean, but I do feel like they are paid not to understand it.
And that has been true for some time. It continues to be true. And the reality is, if this were a referendum, he would be in deep trouble. The fact, and David just noted it, the fact that he is competitive with the guy who is the runaway frontrunner for the Republican nomination, who has some significant problems of his own, is what he's looking at. And, there's an expression in sports that, sometimes you have to win ugly. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what lies ahead here for this president and this White House.
All right, Kate Bedingfield, when we both worked on separate sides of the West Wing, I learned very early on, wandering into your office and asking straight up about polling on any given day was likely not to elicit the most friendly response.
I welcomed it.
You always had answers and kind of explanations, or this is why this matters, this is why you're missing this, that, or the other. What are people missing here that the White House, that the political team for the re-election campaign knows that they're not seeing?
Well, remember, polls don't get asked in a vacuum, and there's a lot of information that doesn't get folded into a question the way it's posed to somebody who's responding to a poll. So, you have voters raise, for example, that they would like to see someone else other than Joe Biden as the nominee, but then when they're asked specifically who that would be, that number drops down to 1%. And so what you don't see here is people being asked about how they feel about where Republicans stand on abortion, on guns. And we saw that dynamic play out in 2022 when people went to the polls and largely rejected what Republicans were offering. So I think what we aren't seeing here, and what it's sort of easy to look at a poll and get really sucked into the numbers, although I'll tell you, the Biden White House is not going to be rattled by this, because their view is, they're going to be 500 polls between now and Election Day. But there's a lot of information
information that isn't here that's a reminder that campaigns don't happen in a vacuum, and it's on the Biden campaign to make this election a choice and to make it about the contrast between what Republicans are offering and what Biden's offering. That's a challenge. I don't think anybody's saying that's easy. I don't think the Biden White House would say that's easy, but that's the challenge before them, is to really make this about the contrast. As Biden would say, don't compare me to the almighty, compare me to the alternative.
David, what about the Nikki Haley aspect of all of this? That she's the one who beats Biden in this hypothetical matchup?
It does have to be noted, however, the CPI is a measure of monetary inflation, not the cost of living. For example, when a company sells a computer for the same price as last year, but with 2x as good specs, it is actually considered to have gone down in price according to the CPI. Okay. There are different factors. There are different factors that are considered. But ultimately, if you're looking at people on the ground and how they feel and what prices look like for the average person, okay, prices have gone up dramatically, especially as it pertains to groceries, things that people are regularly purchasing. And that is a major problem. The real issue is that inflation is not a standalone thing that happens due to magic or due to even market forces, unless the major market force that you have to consider, which many people don't when they're talking about this kind of thing, is corporate consolidation. Due to corporate consolidation and price leadership practices, wages plus 1 plus inflation equals real income. CPI absolutely takes real income into account. You're wrong on this one. Are you talking to me or are you talking to other chatter? Hassan, you were wrong. CPI takes into account real wages and purchasing power. I'm not talking about the CPI. What I was talking about is real wages going up year over year since 1970s, if you look at it. But it's only gone up due to parts of your salary or parts of your benefits package that go into aspects that you never see. No, it's not that it doesn't factor in cost of living. It's that the factors that are in consideration don't always, don't directly mean more dollars in your pocket.
By 6 points.
Yeah, no, look, I think she benefited from that debate. Obviously, she stands out from the field. She's the only woman in the field, and she has significant general election advantages, but she...
Yeah, when you lose your job and get COBRA benefits, that's when you realize how much your fucking premiums are. Or at least that's when I realized how much my fucking premiums were that my company was paying for. All of that is still technically a part of your wages that are going up, your benefits package that's like going up. But none of it is actually translating to real dollars in your pocket.
He's sitting at 5 or 6% in the Republican polls. One of the issues here has been that Republicans themselves believe that Trump is the strongest candidate they have. And there has not been a coalescence around any other candidate who could challenge him for the nomination. She has a task in front of her to win a Republican primary. One of the paradoxes of our contemporary politics is what it takes to win a Republican primary often makes you less appealing as a general election candidate because you have to tack so far to the right. So we'll see how she navigates that. But right now Donald Trump is the runaway front runner, and it's not clear that she or anyone can overtake him.
But Kate, Poppy was talking about this, flagged this for me last night, and we've been talking about it this morning. And it's something you and I think, have actually talked about over the course of the last 2 years, and that is that there's just kind of a...
Sticky price CPIs to provide more realistic measure of inflation considering the actual behavior of price in the economy. This can be especially important during periods of economic turbulence or whether analyzing the effectiveness of monetary policy. Sticky prices can influence consumer behavior and overall economic environment, so accounting for them in inflation calculations can offer a more accurate picture of economic conditions. I'm in Mexico, chatter. Because of your commentary on Vivek not having long-term chance of being a president or VP because he's brown. Do you feel the same about Haley because she's a woman? No, I think the Republican Party could have a VP that's a woman. Even though Nikki Haley is also Indian, she's not Indian presenting, and her last name is Haley. So, any motherfucker that says Nikki Haley is not white passing is deluding themselves, okay? In order to understand that Vivek is Indian, you just need to look at him. In order to understand that Nikki Haley is Indian, you have to know about her background. I'm Indian and I don't like Republicans or you, says Rick Daddy. Okay. I mean, cool. Anyway, okay. We need to watch something that doesn't require me to do too much commentary because I'm trying to eat.
General discontent in the country that's hard to overcome based on the last couple of years, COVID and the pandemic and all these different factors. There's a column from Brett Stevens where he says, in part, the news isn't all that good. Americans are unsettled by things that are not always visible in headlines or statistics, but are easy enough to see. And I think that kind of defines the disconnect between legislative accomplishments, the current state of the macroeconomy, those types of things that the White House wants to talk about, and how people are feeling. How do you kind of thread that together if you're the Biden administration and campaign?
Well, I think there's certainly truth to that, and that's absolutely something that the president recognizes. When he is talking to his staff about what he wants to say when he's going out to speak, he's always very focused on making sure that he is talking about connecting with people's concerns. He believes that it's important for a president to show that he understands that people, are feeling doubtful, are feeling dubious after essentially a once-in-a-generation pandemic that kind of rocked our world, more or less. So it is a challenge. I think for the president and for the Biden campaign, they have to continue to show that they connect with people's sense of unease, but also remind them about how much has been done and critically convey a sense of optimism. Remind people that we are on a good path and that there's opportunity for things to get better. I think he has a lot of proof points. He can point to a lot of things that he's been able to get done in a very divided Washington. He's been able to accomplish, historic job creation, a historic infrastructure bill that's fixing people's roads and bridges, obviously the Inflation Reduction Act. There's a lot that he can point to say, listen, I've been able to get things done to make your life better, and there's so much more to do. And so conveying that sense of optimism, I think, will be critical for the campaign and for the president.
Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Pleased to welcome back to the program former President Donald Trump. Mr. President, welcome.
The GOAT. I didn't even realize the GOAT was on another TV show. We're going to skip that. We're going to go to Vivek Ramaswamy.
Damn, this guy's good.